Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, the Beauty Myth. Learn the beauty secrets of the goddess next door in this action-packed Isis series adventure. Get Isis, the Beauty Myth at online booksellers everywhere today. One of my viewers wanted to know why actress Amanda Bynes wound up having a series of mental health issues. Now, Amanda Bynes was a promising actress who was on her way to stardom after a great career as a child performer. Now, Amanda Bynes basically started out performing when she was 7 years old and started out with a career doing advertisements for Bunch of Crunch Candies, Cut and Style, Barbie, and Taco Bell, and eventually wound up appearing in theatrical versions of Annie, The Secret Garden, The Music Man, and The Sound of Hill. And as she was attending a comedy camp at the Los Angeles Laugh Factory, she got advice from legendary comedians like Richard Pryor and Arsenio Hall before she started going out to do comedy performances, and eventually was spotted at a comedy club, the Laugh Factory, where they wound up casting her in the legendary Nickelodeon sketch comedy series All That, which is known for being one of the great Nickelodeon comedy series. And from there, as she was on the Nickelodeon series All That, she wound up getting a lot of recognition and won a Kids' Choice Award in 2000, and eventually wound up also being in another Nickelodeon series, Figure It Out, and also from that success wound up getting spun off into the comedy show that was known for being one of the iconic Nickelodeon comedy shows, The Amanda Show. Now, as she was on The Amanda Show, this was her breakout show, and on that show she won 4 Kids' Choice Awards, 2 Young Artist Award nominations. Now, Young Artist Awards are a major deal in the entertainment industry because they show that a performer has great promise. And from there, she got a test movie working with Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle, known as Big Fat Liar. And that film, while it didn't do well with critics, did well at the box office. And she won another Kids' Choice Award for her performance. And that's what's led to her graduating from going from being on cable to broadcast TV. And that's where I first saw Amanda Bynes, and that's where I saw a lot of promise in Amanda Bynes. And I looked at her on while she was working on What I Like About You, and I thought she was going to go on from that show to major stardom because I looked at her performances there and her presence there, and she basically looked like she was on the road to becoming a superstar with that show. Now, as she was on What I Like About You, she got a lot of acclaim and also got a number of nominations from the Teen Choice Awards and the Young Artist Awards, and then went on to do voice work for the movie Charlotte's Web, and also went out here and did the voice of Piper Pinwheeler in the movie Robots, and also starred in the comedy Love Wreck, and was on her road to becoming one of the hottest stars. She was named one of the hottest stars under 25 in 2006, and many people thought that she was going to be on her way to becoming a superstar, just like I thought she was going to be a superstar. And while some people thought she was going to be the next Lucille Ball, as I looked at her contemporary career, I thought Amanda Bynes was on her way to becoming the next Julia Roberts, or possibly even, according to some people, the next Carol Burnett. I thought she was going to be on the road to becoming a bankable superstar who would be able to open movies based on the track record that she had. Unfortunately, as Amanda Bynes was on the road to trying to establish her bankability, what happened with Amanda Bynes is that she possibly was dealing with a lot of people buzzing in her head, and as these people buzzed in her head in Hollywood, what they did was put pressure on Amanda Bynes, and that pressure basically was the thing that led to Amanda Bynes' whole mind basically falling completely apart, because as someone who has studied the entertainment industry, I can tell you that one of the things that people do behind the scenes is that they just go out here and play mind games with people. And as they play mind games with people, this makes many performers extremely insecure, and it leads to them having low self-esteem. Now they'll have the face and the image to the world of being out here being one of the most beautiful people in the world, but due to the mind games that people play behind the scenes, many of these performers don't really believe anything about themselves. And this is the way that the studios and the people behind the scenes, such as the handlers, get control over the performer and treat the performer just like property, and are able to manipulate this slave into doing whatever they wanted. Now, with Amanda Bynes, she had developed a complex as related to her weight, as related to this whole problem that she was having on the set of a movie called She's the Man, which is supposed to be an update of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, where she played a girl pretending to be her twin brother. And as she was playing this role of this girl playing a boy, this led to her winding up feeling a sense of disconnection and disassociation with her own body, because she didn't like the way her body looked like when she was playing the role of a boy with the short hair and the sideburns, and it really made her feel uncomfortable in being inside of her own body. And this is the same type of disconnection that I've heard many adult performers, such as female performers, say about their own body, and say this about how they felt as they were performing in these adult films. And Amanda Bynes was dealing with the exact same issue, not only dealing with that issue, but dealing with the issue of weight, because when it comes to the studios, a lot of times when it comes to actresses, what they do is put them under a lot of pressure as related to their weight. And as they put them under pressure as related to their weight, this can really frustrate a lot of women, because they want to go out here and just live a regular life. But in order to continue getting jobs, they have to continue to stay slim, and they have to continue to stay slim to the point of an unrealistic standard. And what Amanda Bynes was dealing with was an issue of people trying to keep her at a very slim weight, and trying to keep her at a slim weight because that was the way the agents were able to try to get her other jobs. And as she was trying to go out here and get these other jobs on the road to becoming a bankable A-list star, what Amanda Bynes was dealing with was a lot of pressure. She was dealing with a lot of pressure to be able to maintain the image that the people in Hollywood wanted to craft around her. And this whole need to, again, maintain this image around her is something that basically put extreme pressure on Amanda Bynes, who was basically just a kid who was looking to have some fun. But these people basically wanted to, again, commodify Amanda Bynes and make her into a property that they could sell. And as they looked to commodify Amanda Bynes and make her into a property that they could sell, they didn't really care much about Amanda Bynes as a person. They didn't care about Amanda Bynes as a human being. And this basically led to her winding up in a deep depression, because she felt like there was nobody there to care about her, similar to what happened to Britney Spears. And as she felt that she was being dehumanized by the people around her, who basically were looking to keep her at a certain image for the roles that they needed to keep her in, this is where Amanda Bynes started to look to escape from the whole system of Hollywood. And how she looked to escape from the system of Hollywood, I believe, is starting when she started saying that she wanted to be involved with black men, which is something Amanda Bynes had pursued. She had pursued relationships with different black guys, and as she pursued those relationships with black guys, what she was looking to do was escape from the world of Hollywood. And as she was looking to escape from the world of Hollywood, she further started experimenting with drugs like ecstasy and cocaine in an effort to escape all the pressures of that world. And in addition to taking those drugs, I believe, as related to ecstasy and cocaine, as she's reported, and I will speculate that she possibly was smoking weed and looking to escape that whole world of Hollywood and feeling dehumanized and basically not feeling comfortable in her own body, feeling dehumanized by all of the Hollywood handlers who treated her like property, feeling like she was depersonalized from her own body by the experiences she had with certain roles, like the role of She's the Man. She basically depersonalized, and that's why she felt detached in her own body, because she had to change herself to fit in that role. And after this, this is where she's looked to escape from that whole dehumanization and depersonalization, and decided to start getting involved with black men. And I believe, according to one report, they said that she was smoking weed, and I believe that messed with her brain chemistry. And she was taking that drug along with ecstasy and cocaine, and along with the drug for Adderall, which she kept to try to keep her weight down. This basically led to Amanda Bynes going from being a promising star to a woman struggling with addictions because she was looking to escape the world of Hollywood through drugs. And as she was looking to escape Hollywood through drugs, this is where she was working on different films like Hall Pass and Easy A, hoping the people who she was working with, the handlers, like the agents and the managers, what they were thinking is they could, again, get her up to the A-list. But the whole thing is they didn't care about Amanda Bynes, and they didn't care about Amanda Bynes as a person. No, they basically didn't care about her as a person. No, they saw her as property. And I talk about this in depth in my screenplay book, all about Marilyn, about how many of these studios really don't care about the people, really don't care about the people in meeting their needs. No, because this person is a commodity that they look to make money on at the box office, and all they care about is making money on that person, and they don't care about the person's whole mindset or their mental health. And I believe that's what happened with Amanda Bynes, to the point where she just got so upset about the whole situation regarding the whole experience in Hollywood, about how they just completely depersonalized her and treated her like property, to the point where in 2010, and I remember back in 2010, where she said she wanted to retire from acting, and decided to retire from acting basically because she just was, again, burnt out from all the trauma. And as she was burnt out from all the trauma, what happened with Amanda Bynes is she wound up leaving acting, but still had to deal with the issues as related to the drugs that she was addicted to, and the traumas that she endured on these sets as related to people telling her that she needed to be a certain way, she needed to behave in a certain way, and she needed to do certain things. And all of this trauma basically did damage to Amanda Bynes' mental health, because I believe that, again, when she started this, again, according to some reports, smoked the weed, this created a chemical imbalance in her brain, which happens with many marijuana users. And then after this, she began possibly taking these other drugs, which did further damage to her mental health. And this basically led to her winding up in a situation where she had a series of arrests for drug possession, a DUI, and reckless driving, and many other incidents until 2013, where she was hospitalized in a psychiatric hospital for a psychiatric stay, possibly a 72-hour hold, and her parents decided to extend that whole stay in the psychiatric hospital because Amanda Bynes had really serious issues as related to her image. And as she had these issues as related to her image, she basically didn't think she was a beautiful woman at all. No, her self-esteem had been so damaged, she thought she was ugly, and she thought other people were ugly. This was the idea that she had, and was obsessed to the point where she wanted to get cosmetic surgeries to try to change her look. And again, all of these insecurities possibly happen because when you're in Hollywood, you have a lot of people who want to, again, get control over you. And they want to get control over you by going out here and telling you that you're not pretty, this other person is pretty, and they're going to get roles. If you don't do certain things, you're not going to be able to compete. When in actuality, this is not the case at all. People are just going to hire who they're going to hire, and if a person likes you and they really think so highly of you, they're going to write a role for you, like I basically did when I was writing All About Marilyn. The character of Tabitha Strong was inspired by Amanda Bynes, and the great irony is as I wrote that character, and the character was inspired by Amanda Bynes, art was imitating life, and she was basically acting just like the Tabitha Strong character in All About Marilyn, to the point where she had psychiatric episodes similar to what I presented in the act leading up to the closing of the first act of All About Marilyn, and it was really scary to hear her story because it basically mirrors everything I wrote in All About Marilyn. And sadly, when I listen to Amanda Bynes, it's just her story. It's a sad and tragic one. Again, she wound up with I believe, a mental health issues because the whole business of Hollywood is a cruel business. This is something I've known from studying the entertainment industry for over 25 years. It's a cruel business. It's a cruel business because it does not treat people like human beings. It doesn't respect people, and it treats people like they're less than nothing because it basically is these studio executives and these studio people and these agents and managers seeing a person as property, and because they are depersonalized, they don't see this person as a human being, and they will say and do things to coerce people into doing things that they don't really shouldn't do, or do things like tell them to do things that are extremely disturbing, like go around and do things like sleep with producers, or keep your weight down, or just do things that are just unethical, because all these people want to do is get money off a person. They basically see the person the same way people see a slave, where all they see the slave is as property. And that's what's really disturbing with what happened to Amanda Bynes. And as she was dealing with these issues, basically her family had to put her under a conservatorship because her behavior was extremely erratic because she would have basically disfigured herself in an effort to try to become this ideal, try to disfigure herself and become a caricature of a human being, because she had this image of herself that she imagined, and she would basically have butchered herself, and again would have headed down this road to insanity had her family not gone out here and basically put her under a conservatorship. And they had to put her under a conservatorship due to the issues she was having. And as Amanda Bynes was dealing with these mental health issues, she basically could no longer work in the entertainment industry after that. And after that, she basically was on a road where she was just struggling out here. And as she was struggling out here, she wound up not able to act anymore. And as she wasn't able to act anymore, she started to work on things like her degree in fashion design. And she eventually did finish the degree in fashion design with the School Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. So she had a degree in fashion design, and she also wanted to go out here and become a manicurist because she wanted to have a job of some type. So she basically wanted to go out here and do these type of jobs and as related to things, but it was hard for her to do anything because she was under a conservatorship, and she had also been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And as she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, this is where her family again put her under this conservatorship as she was abusing these drugs like cocaine, MDMA, and Adderall. And eventually in 2022, Amanda Bynes decided to come out of her conservatorship, but unfortunately, as she came out of the conservatorship, this is where she was found having another episode where she was wandering naked someplace, according to some reports, and again, just really was still having issues, and is still trying to work on her issues. Now, she basically, in that incident where she was caught in 2023, talked about how she had thoughts of self-harm, and she's still just dealing with all of these different issues as related to her mental health. And again, these issues as related to her mental health basically make her, again, a textbook example of what I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis, as a woman in crisis. And again, Amanda Bynes is a woman in crisis, but she's trying to fight against this whole series of issues. And again, she's gotten herself together accordingly for the second or third time, and is trying to get her life in order, and trying to get herself together. And again, I can understand where she went to, again, and I understand why she went and started having these mental health issues, because the entertainment industry in and of itself is a lot of pressure. The entertainment industry is a lot of stress. And again, there are a lot of people behind the scenes who go out here and say slick and passive aggressive things that can just mess with your mind. And for a young woman like Amanda Bynes, I mean, you're just trying to go out here and play roles. You're trying to do things. And sadly, as you're trying to do these things, you run into people who are not looking out for your best interest. They're just looking to get either their 10% or they're 15%, and all they're thinking about is getting a payday and keeping you, again, as somebody in a mindset where you're just so caught up in all of these inferiority complexes. And again, as people get caught up in these inferiority complexes, what they do is look to escape. And as they look to escape, what they do is go out here and escape through things like drugs. She looked for comfort in black men because she basically felt like she couldn't trust anyone. She looked to escape through drugs. She looked to escape through drugs and all these different type of drugs. And again, those drugs did damage to her brain chemistry, and that's what led to her winding up on this, having these mental health issues. And again, sadly, what happened with Amanda Bynes, instead of going on a road to stardom, is that Amanda Bynes went on the road to becoming a woman in crisis, and is now trying to break free from that whole road of being a woman in crisis, and hoping to try to move on to have a better and more abundant life. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to, again, request that video, you can get that, again, through the PayPal or the Cash App. And if you want to read a story about a faded former teen sitcom star, which Amanda Bynes partially inspired, you can pick up my book, All About Marilyn, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can also pick up my other book that details the issues that women like Amanda Bynes have, The Woman Crisis. You can find that book on Amazon.com as well. And you can also find The Woman Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, A Fabulous First Season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, The Fabulous First Season in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.